Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, February 4th, which makes it, Roberto, Thursday, May 5th. It is 90 days out from Cinco de Drinko.
No,
Yes.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, Cinco de Drinko. It's 90 days away. So you have to ask yourself, am I going to do the activities today to make sure that I'm at a closing table that week so I can go out for Cinco de Drinko? And we'll see. I noticed yesterday, Robert, by the way, that you popped on.
Hold on. You didn't give me any forewarning about this whole Cinco de Mayo thing, so I have to.
That is the worst. That is every. So I've got obviously we both do because you have friends that did the same thing, and I know actually you were a DJ, and I don't mean radio. Like I did on air stuff.
No, I did radio.
I know you did. I'm making a point. Calm down, Barbara. Calm down. We both did on-air stuff, and you also did weddings and bat mitzvahs and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yes, I never ventured down that road. And then there's a lot of people that you and I both know, and I'm about to make fun of people, and I don't care, who never got on the air. You know, never had the proverbial chops to make it onto the air. So my theory that I've always shared with my wife when we go to certain weddings or certain events, and thank God most of my friends are married, that old Seinfeld adage that they're looking at their list of people they're going to invite to the wedding, and you want to just call them and be like, we don't care if you invite us or not. We're not dying to go to your wedding. Anyway, the DJ at the wedding, who is clearly using your 6-hour wedding to relive the radio career that he or she never had.
Right.
That person who talks too much. So we were very blessed at the time that we got married. I was still interning at Kiss 108 in Boston. We had the ever famous Joe Public from Kiss, who did a very good job because these are guys that were on the air, didn't need to talk up every record, didn't feel the need to make sure my wedding into a radio show. So they did a phenomenal job. But it's just funny.
So you're saying
you play that air horn. You're playing that air horn. And every one of my friends who had moved from on air, and some of them still do on air, that also do events, definitely overplay that horn.
Oh, you know what?
Yes.
It looks like somebody wants to talk about that. Who do we have in the coming in the wing?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm gonna gloss right over it. Anyway, so full schedule today. At 11 o'clock, we're going to be doing a post-Bold huddle. So obviously yesterday was day one of Bold. This is open to everybody. This will be at timsoffice.com, 11 o'clock if you want to join us. It's for everyone who's in Bold, people who may not be in Bold, and just want to join the conversation about production and all the activities. As we've been saying, 2020 do. It's all about doing the things. We know what we need to do. It's about doing the things so we can have money for Cinco de Drinko, which is wildly important. Back to basics with our brokers at 1 o'clock. And then, of course, open door lab hours with Roberto at 2 o'clock. And that is at KW Tech TV. Yesterday, Robert, this is the point I was getting to earlier. You mentioned and shared with us about animating posts and animating designs, as it were, which is super cool.
Yep.
So talk to me.
So excited.
Talk to me a little bit more about that. Like if people don't know what we mean when we say that, the video's been posted so they can go back and watch it. And I trust you're going to dig a little bit deeper next week, probably.
Tuesday.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, on Tuesday in the 201 class, 301.
301. Get it right. 301.
I know. We're going to go over how to create designs in marketing. So it perfectly coincides with this. This feature was unannounced. This was not on the roadmap.
A Gary Keller Easter egg.
What happened was, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but we incorporate other third-party tools into Command to expand its functionality. And one of those expanded functionality items is the designs area. And so the designs area is actually managed by another company. It's not the guys in-house. Now, they work to integrate it and stuff like that. But the kind of the bottom line is this was not on our Command roadmap. This happened to be on the designs roadmap. Now, at the end of the day, if you're familiar with tools like Canva, and I'm going to be specific about that one because that's the most popular, easy tool to use. Canva can do this as well. You can animate elements of the objects on screen all or some, and then you can create a video which you can then post to your social media. That feature is now in Command, and it gives you, in my basic little video, I showed you how to animate a single object, but there's a lot of control and a bunch of really cool animations that are pre-canned that you can just apply to the different elements on the screen and then just publish it as a movie and put it up on your social media. Putting it on your social media being publishing it through Command and adding it. So here's what I love about this. At the end of the day, one of the things that people have always been asking me about is, can I do any kind of motion or spice up my posts that I put on social media to give them a little more joie de vivre, whatever. And
Susanna
so
would call
now
it the
we
zhuzh.
can.
Yes, the zhuzh.
Zhuzh.
The zhuzh.
The zhuzh. So now we can. And I thought that was really, really neat. So I did a quick little thing the other day just to get it out there so that people could see it. And now that it's there, we're going to talk about it on Tuesday. So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, I liked it because I saw it, and of course, once it gets past a certain time, it starts to show on Facebook how many hours ago it was. And I'm like, oh, this was completely off the cuff Thursday afternoon. And I know you have it, that you need to have like a breaking news.
Yeah.
There needs to be the chyron at the bottom needs to be breaking news, Gary's Easter egg, whatever the case may be.
I will, I have that. I have that.
I know you have that. Of course you do. So other stuff that came to pass yesterday, Robert and myself and the rest of the team, we now know that on 3322, Robert, which we're looking forward to, Robert and I will be doing deep knee bends and a lot of behind the scenes work, and probably acquire a couple more jugs of Bulldog Gin to get us to 3322. 3322.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Robert. I got you covered. 3322 is a Thursday afternoon. It's going to be 4:30 to 6. We are doing our Kelly Awards virtually as we did last year. So stay tuned for that. If you felt Robert did a great job with the production last year, which he did, I can tell you that he's going to dork out and make it even more visually appealing. More zhuzh,
I was
right?
up all night last night. Last night was brainstorming. I broke out a couple of designs that I've been working on previously and some just ideas, and I just threw together a whole bunch of really random things to see if I could brainstorm on some ideas for what this is going to look like. So it's already started. So basically, don't talk to me for a month because I'm going to be. I'm off.
What do I always say to people? If I look stressed, it's because of the stress. So So Robert will be busier than most for the next month. But do know that it is Thursday, March 3rd, 22. So 3322, 4:30 in the afternoon. It'll be on Keller TV. We are going to have more details about how you can be virtually involved insofar as obviously be in the room. I can tell you again, if you remember last year, there was a Virginia encouraged attire involvement. And I didn't say entire involvement. I said attire involvement. So I can tell you that Dr. Frost
really
for sure is going to
words.
encourage that you are decked out in red. And there'll be some prizes for that kind of stuff. And, of course, all the awards for all the hard work that you guys did so we can celebrate every last person at the Market Center who moved the needle with the team last year will be celebrated on March 3rd. That's at 4:30. That'll be on Keller TV. And you're going to start to see, and to give you a little hint of maybe how you might want to dress, I do believe we are going with a Hollywood red carpet theme. So
I think so.
So prepare yourself for that. Also happening today, Robert, at the stroke of 11:59, and don't quote me on whether this is Central Time, Austin, or Eastern Time. Just do it now. Your digital ticket for Family Reunion is still $129. Your in-person ticket, if you are heading to Orlando, is $9.99. And those prices, what's a great word for it? They accelerate at midnight. So if you want to get on your digital ticket, which gives you the content 60 days after the event, which wraps up on the 22nd of this month, you'll have an opportunity to have that content and access to all the stuff. It's a great place to network with people. Talking to one of our agents yesterday about whether they should do Family and Mega, and they had done, Robert, a couple years ago, Portland, when we did our mastermind. Typically our fall mastermind as a region was on the Cape for a while. It's been in Portland as of late. And you'll notice a week after we do our awards, the emails have already gone out. We're talking about March 8, 9, and 10 at Mohegan Sun. We're doing a spring mastermind this year just because we weren't able to get together last year. We were planning to do something at Mohegan for Mega Camp, and then, of course, COVID curtailed those plans. So we are going to be there March 8, 9, and 10. More details on that coming, so you can get your ticket for the event. Go down to Mastermind. There's always great guest speakers coming in. I can tell you this much. If you've been to a mastermind for New England in the past and you thought it was good to pretty good, I can tell you it's going to be pretty good to effing great because the great Nathan Dickey's in charge of putting the party together. So he will flex his proverbial real estate muscles and probably get some cool people to come out and hang out with us at Mohegan Sun. So that's on the map. And, of course, family reunion coming up the 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. It does fall over a weekend. It always falls over a weekend. Robert, in the past, when I first started with the company back in 2010, we'd be going to these and they'd be falling like on Valentine's Day. And I said to my wife, I'm like, well, Gary is on his second wife, and that had nothing to do with it. But like, yeah, I just wasn't sure that was the best plan. So now they've moved it off a little bit. We are no longer traveling on Valentine's Day, although Orlando's a great place to bring the family or the loved ones, should you want to choose to bring those people with you. So it's a great opportunity to hear from Gary in person. Now, this individual that was talking to Kaylee and I yesterday, who will remain nameless, Pedro, was talking about the fact that he did go to a mastermind in Portland when he first started with us, and he said on the very first night he had a conversation after all the events at the bar, was having a great conversation with an agent that was actually coming in to speak from Texas, and I think it might have been Lance Loken. I'm not sure, though. And he said that conversation alone was worth the price of the ticket for the mastermind. So that being said, I would encourage everybody to think to either be in the digital room for the 129 or to decide to jump on a plane and get your hotel room and be there in person. And the in-person seats are starting to become fewer and fewer. And again, the prices go up tonight. So I know I've talked a lot about the prices going up. I don't want a text tomorrow that says, I thought it was $9.99. I'm buying my ticket now. It's $11.99. It's $9.99 right now, or $129. And I think with weather and COVID, if you feel more comfortable on your couch, you can watch Gary, and you can obviously, I think a lot of people have the ability, Robert, to put Gary up on their big screen TV. So your whole family can watch Gary yell at you, which is really fun.
Yeah.
It's a worthwhile ticket, that is for sure. So that's going on. We talked about the awards, Robert. We talked about the Bold Huddle that's coming up. Bold started yesterday. And again, there's still time if you want to jump in on Bold. I know some people signed up yesterday morning before it started, and some people signed up after it started yesterday. So we did pretty good. I think we have about 60 people in the room with our teacher for Digital Bold. Some people from California. Some people from California invited their VAs from the Philippines. So it is a global experience, so cool. Bold Portsmouth, which is pretty cool.
So yeah, I obviously, we kind of held down the fort while you guys went over and engaged in the Bold forum there. So what was the general vibe in the room? Were people excited? Were they nervous? What was going on?
I think for sure. I'm glad you brought this up because I said to Zoe, because I always get excited to see that the agents are excited, because there's without fail, I would argue, and I think most would agree with me. I would argue that about 4,000% of the stuff on our calendar on a regular basis is of no cost. When we do bring in these national educational initiatives, and I would say Bold is probably the premier educational initiative that our company has that gets delivered to your face. And now doing hybrid, having it at your couch should you choose to, which is what we decided for our market center. I think people are like, okay, cool. And it's also like, wow, if you're doing it in person, Bold's $800. If you're doing it on your couch, it's $400. And yes, we reimburse you. A lot of market centers do. We certainly do. But it's still all of a sudden, okay, here's $400 all of a sudden. So people get, in their own heads about that. And then when you talk about the math and the opportunity, they're excited about it. And then they go to first step and they start to feel like, okay, this is a real thing. And he's talking about accountability. I'm going to be on a team. So yesterday we formed our teams, Robert. And this is where it always gets interesting for me as a coach, because I will hear from people, as I did yesterday afternoon. I'll get the text and I'll be like, hey, Tim, super excited, just super nervous. I'm like, well, what are you nervous about, Ted or Stacy? And they're like, well, I just don't want to let my team down. I'm like, kid, you don't want to let your cat down. You don't want to let your family, like it's so funny that we divorce ourselves from the people that we're going home to. But here's the thing. The accountability at the table, the accountability in the digital Bold room is real, because my coworkers and my teammates know what I'm doing or not doing. We can go home and tell our family a great story. How was work at? Oh, it was great. Assigned 15 listings. Our family doesn't know. Like, as long as the lights stay on and we sort of go to Disney, they're like, well, Dad must be doing okay, right? But your teammates are seeing the metrics that are or aren't happening. And here's the other caveat. If you do come back into the bold room next week, and I'm not suggesting this is a good idea, if you do come into the bold room next week after making our commitments as teams, and we're on a leadership team, so it's myself and Zoe and Mark Lesniak, and we were setting, Mark set as a recruiter, obviously, appointment metrics, and Zoe and I set care call metrics, because we do care calls, but we wanted to ramp them up. Now, for the most part, these teams are putting together signed listings, signed buyers, and under contracts. And the team has to make the commitment. So you might have a veteran at the table that says, I'll sign 2 listings this week. And the new kid's like, God, I'm going to do my best to get 1. And if you come back in and say that you got your 100 contacts done for the week, and say that you signed a buyer, and you start to falsify your actualities, we're going to know in 90 days. Because we're going to know on Cinco de Drinko if you can't go for the Drinko, Like, oh, yeah, guys, sorry, I don't really have $4 for a half-off margarita. So the excitement was palatable yesterday. And then today's sort of day one. So I said to Zoe, let's do a post-bold huddle to get people reinvigorated going into the weekend. Because what invariably happens, Robert, is bold is Thursday. And we've all been high school students before. When do you cram for the chemistry test that's on Thursday, Robert?
Thursday morning.
Yeah. Wednesday at 11:55 p.m. sounds like a great time to get ready.
Yeah,
so it's just all about.
This is where the term all-nighter comes from.
Yeah. And this is the heaviest lift, because you're in the bold classroom, and Rob Daniel is pouring into everybody, and you're getting 3 hours of inspiration and motivation and strategy. And then 3 minus 168 for 165 hours, you have to go execute. You have to be the best version of you. Not that you don't have people within the market center and you're a phone call away from Robert or Zoe or Tim or anybody here to help you, but you go into like, oh, I'll get it done later. And you keep putting it off. I mean, this is why I've always been a fan of having bold, because historically bold only falls Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so the coaches can travel. Because what will happen normally if it's a brick and mortar bold, Rob Daniel would have come up and done one in Boston, then done one in Portland, and then done one here, and then they fly home on Friday. So if you're traveling for brick and mortar as a bold coach, they don't make you teach on Monday and Friday. Those are go home to your family days or leave your family days. So having it on Thursday gives our agents the most time to get caught up on the work they might not have leaned into on Saturday and Sunday. And I'm not a proponent of you guys putting on your headsets and doing a Jerry Lewis telethon Saturday and Sunday. I think you should be in appointments and with your family. No, honestly. Yeah, I know. Nobody knows what I'm talking about.
No, I'm just saying nobody knows who that is. I know. Alana has no clue.
Labor Day. By Monday, he's laying across the stage. Tuxedos half off. Yeah.
Half off. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Singing You'll Never Walk Alone at least a dozen times.
You'll never walk alone. So we're just asking that you lean into the activities. And if you want to, just hang with the kids that are in bold and steal from their greatness because you chose not to get into it, join us for the post bold huddle. That's today at 11 o'clock. It's going to be in my Zoom, so it's timsoffice.com. Just click the link on the news that Zoe sent to your mailbox this morning at 7:14, and we should be good to go. And that is that. Other than that, the roads aren't that bad. I'm not telling people to get out and drive.
Well, yeah.
Well, let me say this concerning that. I was headed in. I got up and out the door relatively early. I think I got here about 7:09 because I just wanted to give myself time. 16's about 39 miles an hour when I was coming in. And I didn't find it really slippery. It's just not cleared because there's not a lot of snow. So they're not really plowing to plow snow. They're just getting to the roads when they get to the roads, and the ice is picking up quite a bit. So I would not travel if you don't need to travel. The reason I marched into the office today is because my entire family is home. So Janine is still on the other side of, she's going to test out this weekend. Francis will test out this weekend. And actually my boys would have probably had school canceled today, but Co Brown had a teacher workshop day, which I trust with the weather. They're not teacher workshopping. So there's going to be another teacher workshop day. So my boys are actually sort of on a snow day. It's very confusing, but that's why I'm not home, because it'd be 3 cats, 3 family members.
I was wondering about
I'd get
that.
nothing done. What's that?
It sounds like you went in so that you could actually get something done.
Yeah, it's too crowded at the Lindsay compound, so I decided to skate into the office. Other than that, if you need our good friend Robert to talk to you about the opportunity for animating your designs, there's Open Door Lab Hours. That is this afternoon at 2 o'clock at KW Tech TV.
Yeah, don't ask me about that today. We're going to cover it. Don't do that. Then they're going to be wanting to learn about that today. You can't learn about it today.
You can't ask that question today. You can ask your other questions today.
No.
Open Door Lab Hours at 2 o'clock. Or
ask me anything else.
You can book your face with Robert at timewithrobert.com. If you need Babs to help you with your designs before they're animated, you can go to timewithbabs.com. You can look at her entire suite of services at kwclmmarketing.com. If you have an opportunity today at 1 o'clock, you should hang out with our brokers. It's Back to Basics today at kellertv.com with our brokers. And you can also get your questions answered from Jen and Jason. Call Jason, 603-234-2589. If you need my face, it is meetwithcoach.com. If you've got questions, comments, concerns, it is 603-834-2856. We are glad you're home. We're glad you're safe. And we're excited for our award ceremony coming up on March 3rd. All the details are in the news email that hit your mailbox this morning. And we'll see you in and around the Market Center. Have a great day, guys. Take care.